Should you pull on Sherlotta's FR Echo, her role is going to be a support, battery / gravity. Bars. Notable attacks are Crystal Generation, her skill 2. It increases the party's brave by 300% of her attack before, and wait for this, it is 5 split HP dumps with 2 based on 100% of her current brave and the 2 based on 100% of non-knocked out allies' current brave. Huh? I know that's a lot for your brain to digest at the moment, but, you know, just use her in battle and you will see exactly what I mean, okay? Crystal Core Wave, her EX, it reduces the enemy's group brave by 80% of their current brave. It increases the party's brave by 80% of Sherlotta's own max brave, and it also charges the FR gauge and is also instant turn rate. Crystal Ray, her LD, it increases the party's brave by 80% of her own max brave beforehand. It reduces the group enemy brave by 100% of their current brave. It first deals AoE HP damage to the target based on 100% of the amount of brave in their overhead effect. Following that, there are 2 extra AoE HP dumps by 100% of Sherlotta's current brave, and finally 1 more AoE HP dump. I know that's a lot to take in, I know. Trust me, I almost had an aneurysm when I was researching her. Lastly, with her LD, it grants 1 more ability use for her skill 2, and it also grants her 3 uses of Chuck Staff, her HP variant of her LD. Let's get into what Chuck Staff is. It deals HP damage to the target based on 100% of her overhead brave, with also 50% of her overhead brave to non-targets. Following that, there are 2 additional HP dumps with each 50% splash. It inflicts Light of Rejection on all enemies for 4 turns, and what that is it's a brave sapped by 10% of Sherlotta's max brave. Moving on to her force conditions, you get a plus 40% when anyone's using an ability changed from an HP or a brave attack. You get another 20% when after any party action Sherlotta grants brave to an ally, and a final 20% when anyone's using a magic ability. Let's get to her pros. If you have noticed, she is a brave battery monster, but the real meat of her kit, what really makes her top tier as a support unit, is her long-lasting BT effect. The BT effect is already fantastic with brave gains. You know, Sherlotta been in that gym getting them gains, okay? For brave, she got them gains. She got them 6-pack, she got the shoulders, she got the deltoids, she got the biceps, she got everything. We gonna have to start calling her Swole-lotta with the amount of gains she has. And if that wasn't enough for her BT effect, you have 10 turns to work with it. So if you're playing her right, a majority of the fight she's going to have her BT effect up. A very long BT effect is a good thing. Because of her amazing brave gains given by her BT effect, the party can now bypass lockout. If you were having trouble with certain element units that you're using and the boss keeps limiting those elements, you bring Sherlotta to the table, you're going to be dealing good damage regardless. So if you're facing a lockout fight, for example, and you want to bring Minwoo, you want to bring Seiss, and they're not really doing much damage anymore, bring Sherlotta and see what happens to your damage. In some aspects, Sherlotta is a good cop-out to where you don't really need to play along to the enemy's resistances. You can just throw them the middle finger, and with Sherlotta's brave gains, you're going to be dealing great damage regardless of what they're resistant to. Sherlotta originally came out a while ago for FR era, but she's still one of the best FR chargers in the game. Granted, I don't recommend charging while her BT effect is up, but while it is off, pretty much just spam her skill 1 and EX, and you can charge for multiple force times. Sherlotta was actually one of my main chargers when she came out originally. Now, one thing that really complements Sherlotta well with her kit is someone with a refund effect. Thankfully, Garnet came out not too recently ago, so if you have her, she and Sherlotta work like milk and cereal. Sherlotta is going to give that brave gains, and Garnet is going to bring that off-turn damage, her elemental damage, and also her refund effect. Honestly, with Sherlotta, Bart's can even be viable now in global. Any type of refund effect, I think, will work great with Sherlotta. Following off that, her damage is not bad. Well, it's still not on the level of damage like Garnet, Yuna, or Mog, who's about to come out too. She can still hold her own, and she doesn't have horrible damage like she did before. And finally, her last pro, she does have gravity given from her EX and LD. And while I don't think it's as necessary as it was back in the Lufenia era, I do still think that gravity in some scenarios can be helpful. It isn't that much of a necessity anymore, but it doesn't hurt to have it. let's go to her cons. The funny thing about Sherlotta is she doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of cons, but the cons that she does have, in my opinion, are very, very significant. For example, when it comes to being a support unit, if you take out all the brave stuff, she does barely anything else. While she does have party HP regen built into her kit, she has no direct healing, she has no cleansing, she has no dispelling, and she has nothing of the sort when it comes to defenses. She's not like Porm, where she can help protect the party from powerful enemy attacks. You're gonna have to find defenses elsewhere. Sherlotta is a brave monster, and that's it. She doesn't do anything else, really. Now, does that make her a terrible unit? Obviously not. You just have to know how to use her. And you have to understand that she cannot do everything for you as a support unit. Her second significant con is that her base FR is pretty lacking. Max she's gonna get for herself is 80%, and the max anyone else is gonna get is 60%. That's really not that good enough these days to be a top tier FR. At minimum, the ideal would be to get a consistent 70%. So a plus 60% whenever Sherlotta's not moving, and given that none of her damaging moves are high turn rate, so she moves normally just like everyone else, you're not gonna be taking advantage of that 80% a whole lot during the fight. Thankfully, with the era we're in right now, you can just delegate her FR to being a straight up echo, and that's it. I would just use it as an echo. I wouldn't use it as a main at all. Now we are at the should you pull rating. I'm gonna do something a little bit different than what I've done before. Usually I give out one rating for the unit in general to let you know where it should land in your pull priority list. However, I'm gonna split up into two ratings for this one because Sherlotta is kind of an interesting case. For veteran players, I'm going to give Sherlotta a B-. I would not pull for her. I would not chase her if you don't have her already. I've already have her greened. I already have her FR. It's just getting FR boards for me. I'm gonna use her because I already had her built. But if you don't have her already and you're maybe considering unbuilding her, but you already have a good roster of supports for you, don't get it. I wouldn't recommend getting it, to be honest. Now, as a new player, this is why I separated the two ratings. I'm going to give Sherlotta an S rating. She is going to be an indispensable unit for your team for a pretty long while as a new player because her brave gains and the amount of units that she can enable in normally restrictive fights, it's astonishing. Newer players, she's gonna be your go-to support for a while. That's my should you pull video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.